Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 50. Hold on one second. This is my financial advisor. Hold on one second. Hey, how's everything going? Yeah. Real quick, I need to buy stocks. A lot of stocks. Yeah, like 100 shares. Vaseline. The hand lotion. Yeah, and Kleenex. 100 shares of Kleenex. 100 shares of both. Well, yeah, I mean, it's allergy season, and who doesn't have dry hands from time to time? No, this has nothing to do with Eva Marie debuting last night. How dare you? No, just buy. Listen, do your job, buy the shares. Don't worry. Yes, thank you. All right, bye-bye. You think he bought it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We are at episode 52. We made it the full year. Actually, tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo, was the debut episode. We are a year in, and we couldn't be here again. We couldn't thank you enough. We wouldn't be here without you. We did all our thank yous for our 50th episode. We did everything. We're not going to dwell on this anymore. 1 anniversary. Tommaso Ciampa. There we go. But it is Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you and all of us. So we're going to try to play along a little bit. Joining us, as always, on the bottom part of our screen, the first ever PWP champion, the living legend, Obi-Wan DeConti. Obi-Wan, how are you today?
Not bad. It's a beautiful May the 4th. How are you today?
And with us again, always on the top part of our screen with me, we have Smith Solo. Smith Solo, how are you today?
Dude, John Solo is such a gimme, and you said Smith Solo?
I said Smith Solo. I don't know, John Solo. I didn't think people would get it.
This is Barry Horowitz, by the way.
I understand that, but Ciampa does it this way. I'm sorry, Ciampa. Yeah, I stand corrected. I guess my name is Al Skywalker. We will be joined later by a couple other Star Wars fans. I don't like being Luke. He's a little whiny, bitchy kid, but I guess that's me while off screen. On today's episode, everybody in Impact wants a shot at Kenny Omega. Drew McIntyre handed out some claymores at the end of Raw. Statement made by Legado del Fantasma on NXT. Gary Mehaffy, he will be with us later on today to discuss NXT UK and the big showdown between Miko Satomura and Effie Valkyrie. Brian Joy from Minutes to Bell Time, he will be here as well to discuss all of the New Japan championship matches from this past week, was concluded this morning. We make our picks for this week's upcoming shows. You will see the graphics and statistics presented by Ryan Joy and minutestobelltime.com. We get all of our information from them. The Elias Sports Bureau of Professional Wrestling, we used to call them that. That kind of faded away. I don't know why it did, but that is exactly what they are. And of course, our picks are sponsored by ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Play against your friends. Play against the universe. Real quick before we get into the main event, we're going to main event with our picks for AEW's Blood and Guts special tomorrow night. Before we get to the curtain jerk of the show, I know there's going to be a lot of people chiming in. James Wheeler, the podcast guy from last week from CCW, and was it the man with 3 H's, right? He chimes in every once in a while. This is a pre-recorded show today. Unfortunately, I have some things to take care of later on tonight. So everyone is doing me a solid. The tape is a little bit early, but we will not be able to see your comments today or respond to them. Please don't think we're ignoring you. We love the fact that you guys chime in. Maybe during the show today, maybe John DeConti or Ryan or John, somebody chime in and play back and forth with your comments later on, as I have to go be Big Al and hit some dingers. So we're going to curtain jerk the show with SmackDown the way we main evented it last week, and Roman Reigns is still at the head of the table, John Smith.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was too surprised about this. I mean, there was the off chance that Daniel Bryan snuck a win in there, but they did this the right way. I don't know where they're going with this Daniel Bryan, being barred from SmackDown thing, does that mean he just goes to Raw? Does that mean he's retired for now? Does that mean we get to see him in NXT? Wishful thinking.
Yeah, right.
But they gave him the proper amount of time, but they gave him a half hour for this match, and they did not disappoint. And Roman just ended up choking him out the way that he does with that guillotine. And there's not much more you could say about it. He's a freaking beast, and he's gonna be holding that title forever.
Yeah, Daniel got caught. Roman Reigns was a better wrestler that night, and he proved he's ahead of the table. There was no interference. There was no reason for him to ask for another rematch. I'm sure he'll go to Raw and demand that he get inserted into the WWE title match at WrestleMania Backlash. But yeah, we're going with that he goes to NXT. After the match, he set up for the concerto. Cesaro came out to try to thwart the attack. Didn't really work out so well. Jey Uso tied him up, got the concerto. So John Smith, I think you probably will be taking some time off to try to sell that maneuver, the concerto at the end of that match. And that's 2 he's taken in the past about 3 or 4 weeks. In the past month, he took one at WrestleMania, and now this is the second one. A guy with historic neck issues, probably going to sit out for a little bit to heal. Seth Rollins, he was playing Pro Wrestling Pick'em and taking Daniel Bryan in this match. I thought that was a little odd, and I'm sure, they had guys going throughout the night. The faces all picked Daniel Bryan. I think The Miz was the only heel that they interviewed. He hates Daniel Bryan. He took Roman Reigns. Rollins took Daniel Bryan, which was really odd to me. So I don't know if Roman is going to overhear that or react to it. So let's see. Let's just put that off the table for now, because there actually is a match booked. There's a match signed for this Friday on SmackDown. It's the WrestleMania Backlash rematch. Seems like they're doing all of the rematches, not only on the pay-per-view, but during the course of the shows themselves. So, John Smith, we have Cesaro and we have Cesaro and Seth Rollins going at it again. Who do you got?
I'm going to go with Seth Rollins on this one. Not sure why. I just, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like Cesaro's going to win twice against him.
All right, John McCartney.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know if it's going to be Roman and Jay or everybody else who doesn't like Cesaro necessarily ganging up on him, but something tells me Rollins gets the win here.
Okay, I'm going to go the other way with this one. I'll be on the island as I always am. I just feel like if Cesaro's going to be getting the shot at Backlash, he needs to win this, right? Like, that's really – or maybe it's like a disqualification. Yeah, you can go DQ. Yeah, a lot of people hate Cesaro right now, but then again, Nakamura still is his buddy, right? Nakamura kind of had a pick. Maybe or maybe Daniel Bryan's not gone. I don't know. But, yeah, I'm going to go with some type of way for Cesaro to get that main event shot at Backlash. So I'll go with that. John DeConnie, that was not the only title on the line. Another, said WrestleMania Backlash rematch. We had the Intercontinental Championship replay.
Sure did. Yeah, we had Apollo and Big E going at it. Those two, they really work well together in the ring. So we had a really good back and forth for 10 minutes. And then Big E got the upper hand there right towards the end. He hits the big ending. He's getting ready to make the cover. Commander Aziz yanks him out. Now the ref is, he's giving it a little leeway here. He doesn't call for the bell immediately, but then Aziz runs Big E into the pole, and all right, there's nothing we can do to avoid that now. That's a disqualification win for Big E, but Apollo retains the Intercontinental title. Immediately afterwards, Kevin Owens gets a little revenge on Aziz. He lumps him up just a little bit, but doesn't take long before Apollo recovers from that big ending. He makes it a 2-on-1. Big E makes his way back into the ring, squares it up at 2-on-2. Looks like we're gonna, maybe we're gonna have a tag team match after all. But no, Sami Zayn and his big old foot come in and almost take KO's head off with a haluva kick, and the heels clear the ring. And then Sami goes over to, I don't know if it was the ref or the timekeeper, gets the Intercontinental title back. He stares at it longingly for just a couple of seconds before snapping out of it, handing it back over to his its rightful owner, Apollo, who's already kind of, giving him a little bit of side eye. He doesn't like the fact that he lingered with the Intercontinental title. So Sami gets a Nigerian nail for his troubles anyway.
Yep, shout out to Umaga. So that's no Sammy dancing this week. I've watched that 3 more times. It's the most incredible. I got a wedding reception coming up. I got to get some dance moves going. The show began with Bianca Belair in the ring sporting some SmackDown Championship earrings. Those look nice. Those looked heavy. Those probably stretched the lobes a little bit. But then, the Dirty Dogs came out to interrupt her. Then the Street Profits came out to interrupt the Dogs. And then Bayley came out to interrupt the Street Profits. And so you have this mishmash. Bayley walks past him and grabs the microphone out of Bianca's hand. Was turned into Bianca slapping the crap out of her. And thus a 6-person tag match was created at this. And there goes SmackDown ripping off NXT intergender 6-man multiple person matches. So, to fast forward that, Bianca Belair, they got the win. Bianca whipped Bobby Roode with her hair in the back after Roode was setting up for the Glorious DDT, which turned into the anointment by Dawkins, followed by the springboard splash by Montez Ford. So, Bianca Belair and the Street Profits, they started the strong off, everybody happy. Aleister Black was on the show. He read us chapter 2 of his favorite bedtime story. I guess he has daddy issues. I don't know. I just can't wait for him to get back into the ring. I don't really care what he's reading. just get in the ring and go against Buddy Murphy, please, once a month at least. Natalya and Tamina, they jumped Nia and Shayna during their backstage interview with Megan Morant. Let's go Patriots. Leading into their non-title match that Natalya and Tamina won after a Superfly splash. So that's 3 what is that word? Is that supposed to be? Consecutive. There you go. 3 consecutive wins for Natalya and Tamina over the champions since WrestleMania, since their loss. They each won singles matches. Now they won the tag match. But I got a question for you guys real quick. You know what? There's 2 things that were corrected immediately when superstars were trying to mimic their family members. The one I remember during the WWE show, the photo shoot, when Charlotte Flair first did the strut. Listen, if you want to do your father justice, you need to do it better. You need to do it right. And she worked at it, and she got better at it. Dominic Mysterio tried to do his father's, genetic father's, Eddie Guerrero's, his frog splash. I think it was at SummerSlam. Didn't come off correct. Dom, you got to work on it if you want to, represent your father proud. Dominic worked at it, and it's getting better. How come nobody is correcting Tamina for completely killing the Superfly splash here? Like, I'm all about Tamina. That crescent kick is vicious, but, for the past 10 plus years, that's not doing her father proud. Anybody comment here? I don't know.
Yeah,
Am I complaining about too much?
It comes across pretty clear every time she does it. It's not so much a jumping splash where she gets some Jimmy got hang time. Like, he seemed to freeze in midair for, a couple of seconds. Tamina just looks like she, slipped and she's falling off the top turnbuckle.
Yeah, she's trying to her knees and then the bottom. Yeah, it's just like, it's like
she's trying to find the shortest route to the ground every time. And I'm not saying I blame her. I'm not saying I would do one perfectly, but she's got it in the genes. She needs to be better.
Yeah, right. If she wants to do her father, Hall of Famer, like Christ. So I don't know. I digress. I guess I got to complain about something, right? It's not all gold, but, shout out to Tamina. She's doing well. She's back on TV. She never seems to go away. She's working hard. And, shout out to Ben Sherman. That's his girl. So going to Monday Night Raw last night on an exclusive, I guess, before the show started. Braun Strowman called tails. He got to be the one to face Bobby Lashley last night. Lashley got the win. After a spear, now Strowman was outside going for his little choo-choo express thing. Lashley moved. He hit McIntyre at the announce table instead, which caused McIntyre's panties to go all up in a bunch. Jaw jacking at Strowman. Strowman turned around into the spear, and that's how that match ended. So in order to go correctly into WrestleMania Backlash, it only makes sense that Drew McIntyre gets his one-on-one match. And this is, I guess, the technical WrestleMania Backlash rematch. This is a non-title match. This is not a championship eliminator tournament. So McIntyre is going to get his match even if he loses this. But John DeConte, how do you see this match going?
I'm going to, be careful here and just say Bobby wins because I think it would be weird to see him lose going into it. But I don't think we get a clean finish here. You know, Strowman gets involved and there's some kind of melee, some kind of ridiculousness at the end here. But give me Lashley just to be safe.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that one too. I figured he'll get a win over both of them going into the show. John Smith?
I got Drew winning this one. Give him his consolation prize because he's not winning that title back.
Yeah, so I got comments here from the peanut gallery. Let's see who you guys can guess who said who between Ryan and Gary. One said Tamina's better than Snoop Dogg. The other said Tamina's better than Santos Escobar.
So that would mean that Tamina is better than Jordan Devlin, wouldn't it?
John DeConnie, a very, very important question was asked at the very beginning of Monday Night Raw last night. Did you miss AJ Styles?
How could you not? Come on.
I did so much.
Yes, indeed. We had yet another rematch, AJ and Omos versus the New Day for those Raw Tag Team titles. And it went an awful lot like the WrestleMania match where I'm not really loving this fact that AJ seems to just get the hell beat out of him now, and then Omos has got to make the save for him. Like, are we supposed to just forget that AJ Styles is one of the greatest of all time? He suddenly can't handle the New Day. Anywho, so we got to see some more of Omos. He did a little more moving around. Still looking good. Not quite as lumbering as you might guess for a 7+ footer. And we got a new wrinkle in the ending here. We got the AJ performing the phenomenal forearm off the shoulders of Omos. He nailed Woods with it. We got about 11 and a half minutes of some good back and forth before the Raw Tag Team Champions would retain.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Omos to break out the Spanish Fly. He's gonna drop jaws when he nails that. I can't wait for it.
It certainly would do it.
That was not the only tag team championships on the line last night. Shayna and Nia, they've been busy. They had to put the titles on the line last night against Naomi and Lana. Shayna got the win with the Caribou to clutch. They've just been owning the Raw side of things. I think Natty and Tamina are the only two that have a chance to take it from her. So maybe that'll be a backlash. I have no idea. But fun little backstory from Adnan Virk during this match. I'm not sure if anybody heard this. About Lana. Lana was training 40 hours a week as a ballerina and dancer at 10 years old in Russia under the strictest of circumstances. The same teachers that taught Baryshnikov. And that's so you can see that grace right here in the ring. Now, all of that's fine with the exception of that last part. The grace in the ring, Adnan. Oh, come on. I know you're new here. But let's be fair. Let's not go spreading rumors that Lana is the most graceful person in the entire world. But yeah, she, at the age of 10, 40 hours a week, very Black Widow of Lana. I don't know. There you go. Sonya Deville and Charlotte, they had another meeting together. And again, Postman Pierce isn't happy that this is going on behind his back. Charlotte Flair had a match with Dana Brooke, which she won with the figure 8. Didn't let go of the hold, and the Manny came in with a pretty vicious drop kick to Charlotte's ribs. That was actually pretty tough. And it was showing Charlotte being in such a vulnerable position. And then post-match, Charlotte pleaded her case to Sonya Deville to get added to the Raw Women's Championship match. And she broke out the infamous line, "You gotta be fair to Flair." So Sonya Deville's like, okay, if the men's get a triple threat match, then the women get a triple threat match. So Sonya Deville has now added Charlotte to that match with Asuka and Rhea Ripley, who was the defending champion. They were not happy about that. They came out with piss and vinegar. But then backstage again, Pierce just completely reprimanded Sonya. All right, I'm sorry. I won't do it again. As she is definitely going to do this again. This is how we get her back, boys. This is how we get her back in the ring. Sheamus took out Humberto Carrillo backstage, so he couldn't answer Sheamus's U.S. title, non-title open challenge. I need to make a graphic for this. I don't know why I'm slipping on the graphics for this, but yes, the Sheamus United States title, non-title open challenge. And then pairing with this, out of left field, here comes the greatest Saudi Arabian wrestler of all time, Mansoor. He's about 25-0 in Saudi Arabia, those overseas stadium matches. He was scheduled, I believe, to beat Brock Lesnar at the next Saudi Arabia event for the WWE title. But I guess the pandemic squashed that. He did win the greatest battle royal. It was a 50-person battle royal that he won. But Sheamus came in, and whatever they got into it. So Sheamus is like, cool, Mansoor, you're the new guy, John the Connie. You can have your non-title opportunity against the U.S. title.
Yeah, well, it was nice of him to offer a non-title open challenge spot to a guy that he mistook for an intern when he first walked into the office. But we fast forward a little further down the show, and they actually get it on in the ring there. And it doesn't last very long, a little less than 4.5 minutes of Sheamus and Mansoor. I started to get the feeling, and you've got a good match when you start to feel like, you know what, I could see them putting Mansoor over here. I could see a new U.S. champ.
Yeah.
But that didn't come to fruition because Humberto Carrillo decided he wasn't done with Sheamus, and he attacked. He caused a DQ, so Sheamus technically beats Mansoor, breaking his. Wasn't he approaching like 50-0 or something like that?
Yeah, that's news to me. I mean, I know 25 of them were overseas. This would be a cool thing. Like, he was at least 4 though. They had 3 or 4 over there, and he won them all, including that 50-man battle royal.
Yep. So that's the end of that streak, technically. And then Sheamus ended the night with a little blood on his forehead and bro kicking both of the gentlemen that were in his vicinity. But he definitely looked worse for wear.
Yeah, it was like Carrillo's not going to give up. Maybe, I don't know if they're going to put this, Sheamus and Carrillo on at the pay-per-view, but I guess that's maybe what they're set up for. I don't know if Mansoor's going to get involved in that or just go off on his own story. But it's kind of funny how the rumors on the internet are flying. Oh, well, the WWE are making plans to go back to Saudi Arabia, and then, boom, there's Mansoor. Like, hey, okay.
Well, now they don't have to go back. They've got the greatest talent in Saudi Arabia now stateside, so they don't have to go back.
Elias and Jackson Riker, they were looking to get Damian Priest back with the Fozzie Bear attack with the tomatoes. Accidentally hit Randy Orton. Now, I understand that, Priest and Orton, they had the same hairstyle, so I could see it was a common mistake how they would think Randy Orton was Damian Priest and accidentally hit him with the tomatoes. But I guess Randy did not like that. He got his new tag team partner, John Smith, and then they went at it.
Yeah, my favorite part of that, actually of all Raw, was after Randy was wiping the tomatoes off his face, all of a sudden Riddle just zooms by. Hey, Randy.
Yeah.
Zooming by on his scooter. So they end up look, Riker and Elias, I think, is a legit tag team. They pulled off a couple nice moves together. Riker is very underrated in the ring right now. Obviously, they weren't going to win this match because Randy Orton's involved. Riddle got his ass kicked most of the time. Randy saved the day at the end and then let Riddle tag in for the floating bro for the win, but he also landed right on Elias's face, and that didn't look too hot.
No, that he did. I forget who they did. Somebody did that landed on somebody's face and like smushed their nose. But yeah, that looked tough. But I don't know if Elias was selling it because he went right for his head. You're like, oh my god, like that's gonna. But then he laid down for the 3. So I don't know if he was just toughing it out for 3 seconds because then we went right back to it. Referee went over to him to check on him, and then he went right back in to put the hand in, to raise the hands of Randy and Riddle. So we're hoping that Elias is okay. But Johnson, even with the other backstage stuff, when Randy Riddle locked the mouth, and then Randy took the imaginary key from him because he knows that Riddle will actually believe something like that. Like, oh, damn, Randy took the key. I can't open my mouth. And Damian Priest, he defeated John Morrison with Hit the Lights. Then there was another tag team match, and unfortunately, the Hurt Business, they didn't do Shelton and Cedric any favors by separating them. And then now they put them up. They've been on a bad losing streak since the split up John Smith. And then here come the Lucha House Party. And, that camel's back only needs one more straw, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, the Luchas are a legit tag team. They contended for the NXT tag titles a couple months ago, and they came out and just handed Shelton his ass. Shelton then gets his ass verbally handed to him by Cedric after the match because Cedric tells him that he's been holding him down, and your typical, I was teaming with you for you, and now you're washed up, and I'm in my prime. The song is old as time in pro wrestling, so we're going to have a nice little blood feud between these two. I'd like to see Cedric get back involved with the Hurt Business at least, or Shelton. I don't know why. Like, I think a couple of years from now, somebody needs to go back and ask whoever's writing this stuff, why did you need to take them out of the Hurt Business? It doesn't make any sense.
Yep.
It's just two guys off TV now. Like, they could have just been there,
Yep. Shelton cut a pretty good promo too after the whole fact that he always, he knows how to survive. He's always here, so that was pretty cool on Shelton's part. And we love both of them. We hope they, keep going with them. Angel Garza defeated Drew Gulak with the wing clipper. He said before he was going to shove a rose up Gulak's ass, and I guess he kind of did. I think in WWE land, we need to pretend that stuff rolls down those trunks and then kicking it, from behind. It went up there, so got a rose up Drew Gulak's ass. There you go. And then the big moment that only this person was waiting for, and on Star Wars Day, oh, you could feel the hate. Oh, let it go. You could feel the hate. Eva Marie is back. I wonder if she's going to have Evolution music. The Evolution is coming soon, but some of us have come sooner. So here we go. Was that too gross? No.
Who wrote that for you, Val Venus?
Yeah. Some of us already did. So here we go, guys. I don't know if anybody noticed this, but I'm excited. I'm excited to share this. Raw made a. Oh, I just hit the computer. Raw. That's how excited I am, right? Feel these nipples. Raw did some. I think they broke a streak last night. Let's go through this. A spear, a phenomenal forearm, Karabuta clutch, figure eight, disqualification. Vintage Orton into a floating bro, hit the lights, a springboard elbow drop, a wing clipper, not one roll-up last night. Yes! The streak is over. There was not one Raw roll-up last. Oh, there goes Raw ripping off AEW. Great job by Monday Night Raw. Not only we got Eva Marie back, we got the death of the Raw roll-up at least for a win week. Now we're gonna watch every match next week.
We still got our disqualification though. They still gave us that.
Yeah, but he got the bro kick in at the end. I think Sheamus should have won that match. But gentlemen, we are going to bid you adieu on this beloved Star Wars Day. Maybe break out a lightsaber, cover your eyes, do the training with that little globe thing that shot, that was shooting at Luke in that one movie. So we will bid you adieu, and we are going to bring in the leader right now in the pro wrestling or the Essential Wrestling podcast pool on ProWrestlingPignon.com. We have Darth Mehaffy with us here today, ladies and gentlemen. Gary, how's everything going? No, I can't hear you. Mute button. Gary, the mute button. Giving Gary 1 second. No, nothing? No, I can't hear you, Gary. It is from my end. Oh, my God. Technical difficulty. No, you don't have your mic muted. All right, you should be good to go. I'm going to give it a start here, Gary. Hopefully, maybe you can figure this out by the time we get started here. Actually, I had a question for you right off the bat. This is where this is going to be awkward because Michio Satomura, before her match with Alfie Valkyrie, she was announced at the Best of the World. And going back to Saudi Arabia, Gary, I don't remember her winning that tournament to be called the Best in the World. Now, still nothing. Oh, my God. All right, Ryan Joy, can you give me a thumbs up backstage if you can come in real quick and talk UK with me? All right, Gary, we're going to give you a break. Do me a favor, hit me up in the private chat when you get your mic situated. But Ryan Joy, we're going to bring in a hot tag in here while Gary gets his microphone situated. I don't remember Miko Satomura winning any tournament in Saudi Arabia to be called the Best in the World here.
Yeah, I don't think that happened, nor on any of the Ring of Honor pay-per-views called Best in the World.
Yeah, right. There you go. But absolutely phenomenal. That match was everything I wanted it to be with those two. Gary and I, as I'm sure everybody knows, you've listened, and as Gary and I have talked about, we've been waiting to see Effie Valkyrie in some sort of match with somebody not named in action, and she went big. She went with Miko, and unfortunately, it didn't really work out in her favor.
Yeah, you can beat Isla Dawn and beat everybody else, but you run into to Miko Satomura, and she puts the end to your streak for sure.
Yeah, so it was the Scorpio kick into it, and a great match cover to cover. I'm sold on Effie Valkyrie, Ryan. I don't know if she's going to be the one to beat Kaylee Ray, but
I like her too. I like her too. I think I like her finish. I think she's got a lot of potential. They're obviously behind her. Hopefully, long term, she gets a couple of big wins under her belt, and maybe she does go for Kaylee Ray. I don't think she's the one though.
No, I don't think. After that, I'm sold, but I'm not really. I don't know. We're gonna try Gary again. Gary, what do you think, pal?
Right, am I here now?
Yes, there we go.
Hallelujah!
Use the force,
Princess Lee
Gary.
is back.
All right, Ryan, thank you for subbing in. We will get back to you in a little bit, pal. I appreciate it. Gary, are you sold on Effie Valkyrie to be now? Is she still the one you think to beat Kaylee Ray?
I'm sure. I wasn't sure because as you were maybe saying there, I was wondering what they would do with her and Mako having the match, and at some point she had to lose because they've been building her up to never having lost for so long, and then say they had her lose. I still think down the line that she will get it, but as right now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if she's going to be the one or not.
Well, I guess we're going to possibly have the answer. You know what my answer is going to be. So they threw out it's going to be a 6-woman gauntlet match. I don't think they announced the date of this, but Ginny, Isla Dawn, Zaya Brookside, Danny Luna, and Amelia McKenzie. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I missing somebody here? I'm missing somebody here.
No, I think it's just the 5 way.
It's just the 5? Okay, I thought it was 6. They're going to have a gauntlet match to determine Kaylee Ray's next opponent. Now, Miko lost her match with Kaylee Ray, and so did Piper, so that's why they're not involved in this. Effie Valkyrie, she didn't get invited either, so I thought that was a little strange, but I guess, what do you think of these 5? You don't have to give your match prediction now. Hopefully, we'll probably have like a week or two till it happens, but KLR's next opponent is in front of our face here.
Yeah, I think looking at that, to me, and I was watching somebody else say the same thing, I would say Amelia McKenzie, although obviously they've already beaten her as well, but I think she's the one that she hasn't had a match yet. She hasn't been brought to that level. So I would say either Amelia McKenzie or Isla Dawn out of that, but I would go Amelia McKenzie.
Yeah, Isla Dawn's got a little bit of a history here. Kaylee Ray kind of, I don't say hung her out to dry. She got blocked to break up that pin at Prelude, but they've had a couple backstage things, so to be continued with that. And Eddie Dennis and the Hunt, they now have a new name. The Hunt is now gone because Wild Boar is put out the pasture. They're going by the name Symbiosis or Symbiosis or They announced it 5 different ways they pronounced it. So who the hell knows what the correct response is?
I know. I'm assuming Symbiosis. I have now decided that Eddie Dennis needs to stay out of the ring. Nothing against him. They kept putting him over, going about, oh, look how strong he is, look at all this. And I actually looked at him and went, it sounds terrible to say out of the 6, he's the one that looked least like a wrestler. But
yeah, no, right.
It was like your cousin kind of went, here, with somebody short here, you wouldn't jump in. But although at the same time, I think as a manager he's good, and usually in these 6 ways he's quite good. But again, part of me was surprised straight off the bat that Symbiosis lost. However, I am very much a Gallus fan, and I do think that, as you said, we've had it before. Where recently, was it last week, we had Coffee and Rampage who had the crossing each other backstage. So they're keeping Gallus hot, and now that they're all fit again, pushing them back to the top again.
Yeah, and Joe's got that lined up, and I'm sure it's only a matter of time before Wolfie and Mark they head Pretty Deadly's way. to get their belts back. So Gallus beat Symbiosis. Joe Coffey had the best of the bells for the win. The match that we were probably a little more confused about, Teal Man and Rohan Raja. Teal Man's one match deep. This is Rohan Raja's first ever match in the UK. So we have two new guys, and it was like, what are they doing here? And wow, did Teal Man come out of this looking like a beast.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I was shocked. Like when you consider some of the other match this week that had Levi Muir in against Shah, I was kind of going, somebody like that against Rohan Raja was what I assumed was coming. And then when it was Teal Man, I was like, ooh. But as you said, Teal Man came out of it looking really strong, looking like a beast. They had put over Rohan really well before he came out. But say Teal Man went down and went straight over him, and as you say, has come out looking as if they're going to move him up the card a bit.
Yeah, and the guys debut when they're like, okay, well, the story we're going to tell is this guy's going to break your arm in your first match or dislocate your shoulder. You're like, that's not what I signed up for.
No.
I wasn't acting now. I'm going to be off TV for 3 months. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. The sound effect was great. If it was a sound effect, I hope it was. I hope it was a sound. If it wasn't, I think I'm going to go and cry at this point. But I hope it was a sound effect. But again, I suppose on the other hand, he didn't give up and he wouldn't tap out. So getting your arm pulled out of your socket like a Wookiee we do on Star Wars Day, very much, is the way to lose, I suppose.
Yeah, let the Wookiee win, right?
Yeah.
There was a video package for Subculture, so it looks like that is the name that Flash Morgan Webster, Mark Andrews, and Danny Luna will be going by. I guess there's Subculture, their respective journeys growing up in their respective areas of the United Kingdom. Then we have another match that Levi Muir was on there. Shaw Samuels, I guess we'll call it the Bully to Butcher suplex here with the win.
Yeah, I mean, and it's one. Obviously, when it came out, you knew that Shaw was going over because they're building him up. I'm not sure who quite for, but they're obviously building Shaw up a little bit. But it was, it was good to see it. Good to see a good clean win again, and allowing Shaw to get a lot of his main moves in, so people can get used to a lot of his stuff. So.
Yeah, and he's like I said, he's been paired up with this guy right here. We're getting another episode of the Supernova Sessions. These guys kind of took a hard hit. They lost the feud to Tyler and Trent to Mustache Mountain, including that incredible main event tag team match 2 weeks ago. So I guess this is a reset. We'll see where Noam's going to go. I'm sure Shaw will be right behind them. Yeah,
because they're putting on, I think, Supernova Sessions with NXT UK's favorite country and western singer, Nathan Fraser. I think it's going to be on it. So whether it's just another match between them, I'm not sure. But I say it's every Supernova Sessions has a point. It's never wasted. So
yeah, 100%. They announced that the Heritage Cup Championship between A-Kid and Tyler Bate will be in 3 weeks. So that is 2 weeks from Thursday. I believe the date of that will be May 20th. So we got a couple of weeks to go before we start talking that up. But speaking of Tyler Bate with Trent Seven, Sam Gradwell has some very, very strong words towards Trent about being a founding father along with Trent, and Gradwell was a day one guy too. He just got hurt. And you know what? I feel like Gradwell's got a point here. Everyone was like, oh my God, Trent Seven worked hard. He cut the weight, for the cruiserweight match. And meanwhile, Sam Gradwell almost lost his leg, let's say. We'll play that in the story. I'll start that rumor. There we go. But he worked about a year and a half to get his, get back in ring shape and get his leg back to where it is, and no one's going to bat an eye.
I mean, the interesting thing is, this is going to be the worst analogy in my life. When Sam Gradwell started talking, he reminded me of The Miz, because a lot of times when Miz says his stuff, it's all true. Yeah. You just hate him because it's true. And when Sam Gradwell stood up and went, hang on, I was here too. I signed that contract. I did this. I actually found myself sitting in my living room going, aye, fair enough. You've got a point there. So it'll be an interesting match when it comes up. But they've built Sam Gradwell up really well. Although I wasn't sure at first, I'm being really pleased for him. He's come through really well.
Yeah, 100%. And then guys that a guy we talked about last week, Dave Mastiff. He's taking eating a lot of L's lately, putting guys over. Dragunov, who actually just came out of the feud with Sam Gradwell with the win, but he's kind of going insane when he gets slapped in the back. So I guess they ran into each other. Mastiff actually challenged Dragunov to a match to see if they can beat the tempers out of each other, because Mastiff hurt us. He's pissed. Like, we were 100% correct. So they were trying to beat the tempers out of each other, of course, in friendly competition, I believe was the quote that they used. So there's Dragunov being undefeated. There's Mastiff eating all those L's. Gary, what do you think here?
There's part of me would assume that Dragunov should go over, because I think there's more. He's got a bigger upside, but Dave has been taking so many losses, as you said recently, that it's one of those who goes or who doesn't. I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna go. Here's one from left field. I'm gonna say, which you can use later on when you're playing your ball game. See ya. I'm up on my American culture. No, I'm gonna say Ilya Dragunov goes too far. Dave Mastiff takes the win, and then down the line, the two of them form a tag team for a little while.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, I got a funny feeling the slap in the back is going to set off Dragunov. I don't think they're going to stop doing that. Until there's some kind of, I don't know, like this is almost like a Winter Soldier thing. I keep on bringing up Marvel, but there's been a lot of comparisons lately. You slap him in the back or you say the code words, and all of a sudden he's just a completely different person. And then the match, unfortunately, I don't have a graphic for it, but this is the match. This will probably be the main event. Loser leaves NXT UK between Amir Jordan and the Lucky and Kenny Williams. This is a little odd because they were in the tag team. They weren't a great tag team. They didn't have a lot of, if you want to look at the stories or whatever you want, like they haven't had a lot going on. And all of a sudden it's just like all or nothing. Like, it's like this brand isn't big enough for the two of us. And like, well, who are you? Why are you? But yeah, they're gonna do it. This has got to end. And who do you got, Gareth?
Well, since it's Star Wars Day, I'm gonna say Kenny Williams as Luke Skywalker is gonna take it, and Amir Jordan's gonna be Wedge. You will not hear from him very often after this. But I think that Kenny Williams will take it. Whether Amir Jordan needs to go for surgery or not, whatever, I don't know. Maybe he'll go out for a while. But I think Kenny Williams, they see big stuff for him in the future, so he's going to take it.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you too. First, both, Wedge, don't undersell Wedge. He survived both Death Star attacks. So shout out to Wedge. Not many people made it out of that first one, let alone the second one. But Wedge survived both. So, but yeah, I'm going to go with Kenny Williams as well. I guess maybe just bring Amir Jordan stateside. There's a whole cruiserweight division. It doesn't matter who loses this. The winner gets to stay and gets to stay home with his family, whatever. The loser's got an entire cruiserweight division to go play with. Over stateside, so yeah, I think there's plenty for both here. So that will carry. No, that'll bring us together for NXT UK. That'll bring us to the end of that. But Gary, we will. Oh my God, I forgot to put the standing. I got to do something during the next conversation. But Gary, you are the leader in the Essential Wrestling podcast pool. You had the best show out of Rebellion. We actually have a show coming up that you were going to be picking. Want to make sure the fans get your thought process. On Blood and Guts, on the double cage match between the Inner Circle and Pinnacle. I know they call him the Pinnacle, but it doesn't sound right. I dropped the thought. That's just me. But we got Pinnacle and the Inner Circle, Garrett. Who do you got?
Well, much like you and an Eva Marie match, usually there's a happy ending, but I'm not going to go for a happy ending in this. I'm going to go for Pinnacle. I'm going to go MJF. I think there's more to come out the other side of it. So I'm going to go for Pinnacle to win.
All right, sounds good. All right, Gary, give me 1 second. I'll get the standings up for you just so you can have your little moment in the sun here. Here you go. Now, Gary, yeah, 5-2. Like I said, you got the extra 3 points because Finn Juice was an interpromotional match. So there you go, sitting pretty at the top of the show. We will bring the standings back up again later. But Darth Mehaffy, thank you so much for, again, staying up late with us. I do see daylight. I guess we taped this early enough to get some sunshine into your room.
The one day a year. The 1 day a year when there's sunshine.
Yeah, Gareth, it was great to see you. Always fun to talk to you. And we will see you next week.
Yeah, shall see you then. Have a good one.
So we're gonna bring back in John Smith. John Solo and Obi-Wan Takani. Let me just get the background. Boom, there we go. So we are going to switch gears as we always do from the UK NXT to the stateside version of the NXT. And boom. Let me just.
You could have even went with Han Smith.
I'm sorry. What was that?
You could have even went with Han Smith. Han Smith, John Solo, but you went with Smith Solo. Very disappointing.
My original thought was John Smithlow.
Or like, what about the Sith? Isn't that something from Star Wars?
Yeah, Sith thing. They're the bad guys. Yeah, that's Darth Vader and the Emperor. Those are the bad guys. So those are the bad.
Yeah, I've never seen those comics.
Yeah, I know. You're not a Star Wars guy, but John Smith, you are. You're not a comics guy, but you are a Legado del Fantasma guy, and absolutely big time win by the three potential challengers for the champions that they beat.
Yeah, and rightfully so. They're a 3-man unit. You know, the MS Kushida was only existent for one night. So, hey, that's what they called themselves backstage. All right, I didn't make that up.
I didn't hear that. That's what I was saying. So we know what the K stands for.
Yeah. So, I mean, what more can you say? Like, you got MSK doing their thing, and then Kushida on top of it. You know, Legado gets the win like they should. Which one? That's Wentz. No, Dez. Dez is the one that got his ass kicked all match, and then he was just nowhere to be found for the finale of it. But that's neither here nor there. But the Legado. What I don't like is that they all raised up those championships at the end because they don't own those championships anymore.
No. As you're going to see when the Stanley Cup playoffs, you don't touch the cup unless you win it. Wentz is now named Nash Carter, and Dez, the guy you're talking about, is now named Wes Lee, who I believe is Kimberly's brother. So, and Keith Lee's brother too. Keith Lee's, something like that. John Takani, a pretty hard-hitting women's match between Mercedes Martinez, Dakota Kai. It didn't really end the way we thought. Mercedes got the win, which we kind of all predicted, but she got her ass kicked.
Yeah, and just like you said, this one kicked off the show, and my main takeaway from this, the thing that really hit me the most was these two women were stiff with each other.
Yeah,
this was, had JR been at the table, this would have been a 12-minute slobber knocker. And one of the most impressive moves of the match, Mercedes had Dakota up for what looked to be a razor's edge, and wound up being a DDT for a 2 count. But it just a very, very interesting presentation of the move. And Raquel was there, of course, at ringside for Dakota. She tried to interfere outside the ring earlier on in the match, and she wound up just eating a right hand. But then she couldn't take it anymore. She got in the ring, causing that DQ, and just went after Mercedes and then continued to pummel her inside the ring and out. So Raquel, left looking stronger than anyone in the picture. And Mercedes, I'm sure, will at some point get her shot at her because I'll bet she's pretty pissed off.
Yeah, she's going to come back. She's not going to be happy at all. Speaking of people who are not happy at all, Adam Cole had a sit-down interview with, I guess, some guy from Sports Illustrated, I guess. I don't know. He's still pretty pissed about the Kyle O'Reilly loss. Kyle got lucky. Kyle isn't ready for the main event picture. And then when Adam Cole was asked where he goes from here, he simply said, none of your damn business. So then you got Kyle O'Reilly, who last week said he's moving on from Adam Cole. He was kind of caught watching it. So again, this is Rocky 2. They did it with going into the hospital. This is not over yet. And unfortunately, he said the NXT title was mentioned by Adam Cole. Of course, Kyle O'Reilly already has his sights set on Karrion Kross. Maybe there's going to be some type of like a number one contenders, and because that was a non-sanctioned match or an unsanctioned match, right? Unsanctioned. So that didn't count towards the win-loss records or the standing or the contendership rankings for the NXT title. So they're probably going to go back at it again. Pete Dunne was backstage. He did a promo, and pretty much he wants somebody to pick a fight with him. He mentioned all the champions, which kind of half means nothing. Johnny's not going to go after him. Kushina's busy. Walter's back home. The only one that kind of would go after him, Karrion Kross. You say Karrion Kross's name, and all of a sudden he's going to show up. So I think, again, there's a lot of guys in this championship picture that keep on mentioning Kross's name, and Kross hears this. And he doesn't like it when his name comes out of people's mouths. So stay tuned for that. Cameron Grimes. All right, we're looking for the most expensive, most beautiful watch in all here in Florida. And he finally picked out the one. He got this really, really nice one. But it was not a $1 million watch. We got him. Ted DiBiase was on TV right on cue when we said, oh, my God, we'd love for him to show up. So hopefully they keep doing more stuff with Cameron Grimes and Ted DiBiase. And Cameron Grimes, he's got to start learning the lessons now. Everybody's got a price for the $1 million man. Grizzly Young Veterans did an in-ring promo wanting MSK, but they were interrupted by Ciampa and Thatcher. And Timothy Thatcher, he did some videotape studies on Grizzly Young Veterans, and he found something interesting from one of the takeovers. And it was that wonderful chant that we all love, that all know and love. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. If you hate Gibson, shoes off. So here we go. They're going to get back at it. This was a rematch. This will be, a rematch from the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. I believe these quarterfinals, maybe. Quarters or semis. And Grizzly Young Veterans got the win that night. So John Smith is our senior NXT correspondent. Who do you got in this one?
I'm done picking the Grizzled Young Veterans to win anything anymore, man. They keep disappointing me every time. They make me look like a fool. I probably would have ended up winning everything in the pool last year if I picked them to lose. Definitely going with Ciampa and Thatcher in this one. Yeah.
So your shoes are officially off with Zach Gibson. John DeConnie.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why it is the case, but it just seems like GYV doesn't win in a big spot. So give me Ciampa and Thatcher.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's 50-50 buyback. We don't really see that too much in NXT, so it's not really much of a thing as it is on Raw and SmackDown. But Ciampa and Thatcher, they've had some time. I guess Thatcher was jumped by Imperium. Maybe that thing's still looming out there. I don't know if everyone just kind of forgot about that. I know Imperium's messing around with Dane and Maverick at the time, but yeah, I'll go Ciampa and Thatcher. Screw it, why not, right? John DeConnie, something we've never ever said before on the show. In action, got a win.
In action, got a. Oh, that's Smith.
That's me. Yeah,
I got it for you. Oh, it is. All right, John Smith. Sorry.
Yeah. What's her name? Zion Ruff? No, Zeta Rainier. Yeah. So Tony Storm. Well, the story of this is Zoe Stark, and Tony Storm came out, cut a quick little promo on Zoe, saying that she made her famous with her fluke victory. So then she's going up against In Action, and her name is Zeta Rainier, aka Zion Ruff, and she hits. So Zoe Stark comes out about a few minutes into the match, distracts Tony Storm, and allows Zeta to get the upper hand. Then she hits a shooting star press where she almost looked like she was about to Brock Lesnar that thing.
Yeah.
But then she got over just in time. But
yep.
it looked exactly like Brock Lesnar's, and I was like, uh-oh. So I think she's got to go do that a couple more 100 times before she wants to do it again on TV.
Yeah, it was the same thing as Lesnar, though. Tony was kind of far away. That was a pretty long distance to hit, a backflip off the top rope. That was, but she got it. So shout out to the Zion Ruff. Ian Shaw did a video package. Who the hell knows what they said? Imperium defeated Gillian Dane and Drake Maverick after a Eurobomb. But there was a lot going on in this match. There was trust issues with Dane and Drake. That didn't seem to unfold too much. But Wolf wouldn't hit Dane with the chair to cheat on the behalf of Imperium. So the sanity bond there, I guess they would be good with Violent by Design. They're growing. The sanity bond that those two have, not to mention the UK aspect. Dane is from Gary country in Belfast, and Wolfie's from Germany. So to be continued with that, I guess this is still going. It's been fun. That was a great match. That was a lot of fun. Isaiah Swerve Scott did a promo from a studio. He actually liked what Leon Ruff did, the actual Leon Ruff did to him last week backstage. So now he wants a Falls Count Anywhere match, and now we're going to keep going with this. These two just can't seem to get away from each other, and to tell you the truth, fine by me. Like, this has been a great feud for these two. I don't want to say shockingly. I think we're still underestimating Leon Ruff here, but he has been done nothing but shine in a losing effort right there. 0-4. Swerve has pretty much got him every single time. John DeConnie to Swerve get him again here. It's tough to beat a time 5 times.
Yeah, you know what? This little rivalry here has been so entertaining. I didn't even realize that Leon had come out on the L side all 4 matches. But I even given that, I still think it's a coin flip. I'm going to go with Swerve. But not be upset in the least if Leon takes it, because I know we're just going to get a good match, and hopefully we're going to get a couple more of them. So give me Swerve.
Yeah, now they're going to go everywhere. It's Falls Count Anywhere. They're going to go into the crowd. I hope the crowd doesn't like body surf Leon Ruff back to the ring. Imagine Leon Ruff in ECW. Oh my God. John Smith. Well, I guess because Spike Dudley. I guess they had Leon Ruff back in ECW.
Bam throwing him into the 5th row.
Yeah, exactly. Another reason why Bronson Reed can't do that to Leon Ruff. John Smith. When Leon attacked him, he said, "This isn't over till I say it's over." So, I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be over then yet, because I got Swerve winning this one. He challenged him to the match. He's got to win that specialty match, in my opinion. And I don't know. I don't see Leon Ruff winning anytime soon. I feel like he's going to be like the lovable loser for a while.
I think with everything going backstage, I don't want to say this is going to happen, but what was it, the halftime heat where Mick Foley lowered, or Mankind lowered the forklift with the pallet on it on top of the rock, so he couldn't answer the 10 count.
Yeah,
there's stuff that Leon can do to keep him down for 10 seconds here. I don't think this match This is going to go forward. I don't think this match is going to solve anything.
I want to see them make this the main event, though. I want to see them go at it in the main event.
Okay, that's potential, because we'll get into what possibly could be, the street fight. We'll get into that in a second, because there was flowers. Flowers were delivered to Shopper Moonheart at the beginning of the episode, and they were potentially, according to Frankie Monet, they were allegedly from Dexter Loomis. That doesn't sound right to me. And I guess we'll get back to that in a second, because the way is all over the place here now. Indy was upset. Indy was depressed as she was walking down the aisle, walking Austin Theory into his match against Bronson Reed, John DeConnie.
Yeah, Bronson had a little standoff with Johnny backstage. Then Theory comes bouncing along. Come on, guys, I got a match. Here we go. So they made their way to ringside, and they were causing a little bit of trouble throughout the match. Then Loomis comes out, and in the line of the night, he kind of is following Indy. Indy wants nothing to do with him. She walks around the ring. She gets in the ring. She, no, you talk too much.
Yeah, no. Shut up. You told her to shut up.
So then Theory knocks Loomis off the apron. On the other side of the ring, Johnny's trying to interfere once again. He eats a haymaker from Reed, who turns around and clotheslines Theory, which sets us up for the ending. A tsunami!
Yeah.
For the 12.5-minute victory. And by way of that victory, Reed now gets a shot at Johnny Gargano in the North American title.
Yep. And then going forward with this, the way they fired up Indy with the flowers being sent to Shopper Moonheart, and Indy went full crazy B on them before their match with the Robert Stone brand. Indy lost, and Candice is like, finally, I know she's upset she got her ass kicked the week before. So the two of them, they went full crazy on Shopper Moonheart before their match with the Robert Stone brand. Now here, Robert Stone brand's got the tag titles. Hey, we won the match. So shout out to Robert Stone. He's a Jersey guy. He knows what he's doing, trying to sneak in a tag team championship win. The match never happened, but they did. Like I said, last week or 2 weeks ago, Indy did go to Regal, which Johnny Gargano's never happy about. But Indy did get them the tag team championship match now. But because of what Indy and Candice did that attack before the Robert Stone brand match, they turned this into a street fight. So we got a street fight and a Falls Count Anywhere match tonight on NXT. And this one is for the tag team championships. So John Smith, our senior NXT correspondent, titles are on the line here. Is it finally the way it's time? I think they're 0-3. I think all three of those losses were against Shopper Moonheart.
No, I don't think it's their time yet because they still got too many stories to be told with Dexter Loomis and all that stuff going on. So, and Shotzi and Ember, I think they're going to hold them for a while to legitimize those titles, especially because since they were lost the same day that they were created. Yeah. So I think they're going to give them a substantially long reign, and obviously this is going to be the main event. I didn't know that this was going to be a street fight and for the title tonight. So some NXT correspondent I am. That's definitely your main event tonight. So.
All right, John DeConnie. Yeah, John said you got to build up the lineage. The NXT Tag Team Champions, the women's tag titles. They're 1-0 a takeover.
I've been taking a beating, picking Candice LeRae in all forms of tag and whatnot, singles matches. But since no points are on the line for this one, I would hate for her to finally win when I didn't pick her. Give me Candice and indie wrestling. Take those tag titles.
Yeah, I'm gonna side with John Smith. I like John Smith's theory. I kind of. Yeah, the Dexter Loomis thing. I don't know if you want to mix in the tag team title. Like Johnny's already got a championship. I don't know if you want to mix in all the belts with the whole Dexter Loomis thing. I don't know. I just feel like if they won them, they would lose them right away because Indy would get distracted and get pinned by somebody else quickly. I think it wouldn't end up well.
Yeah.
So that will do it. NXT tonight. They own the night tonight, but the former tenants to this night, Impact, I thought actually had a hell of a show last Thursday. John DeConnie. We'll get to the whole world title picture and Kenny Omega in a second. But first, the X Division Championship. Ace Austin got his rematch.
Yep, he did, and the Walking Weapon would retain. This was everything you want out of an X Division match for 11 plus minutes of these guys flying all over the place and just kicking each other's asses. And Josh pulled. He's done it once before, but each time he does it, it absolutely stops me in my tracks because I wonder not only how he doesn't kill the person he's doing it to, how he doesn't blow out his own knee. He hit a power bomb. He power bombs Ace onto Josh's own knee.
Yeah,
DDP used to say you can't fake gravity. When people talk about wrestling being fake, that is one of those moves that makes me go like, yeah. How does that not hurt somebody badly? He would then transition.
Ouch. That move.
He would then transition into an ankle lock for the submission victory and retain the X Division title. The Walking Weapon, Josh Alexander.
Yeah, he got it done. Teal Dashwood, she just happened to be passing by Taylor Wilde. She wasn't eavesdropping or anything. And after Taylor came to this Tennille's save at the end of Rebellion, obviously Tennille wants to be. There's a match in heaven for her tag team partner. Tennille finally has her tag team partner. So Taylor Wilde, she didn't really seem too happy with that. She had a match with Kimber Lee. Now before that, Kimber did a promo. She did her thing Deanna, she was gonna stay in the back. Let Kimber handle it with Susan. She's just gonna stay in the back. It's time for Kimber, to take the training wheels off, go on her own. Which she did, but then when Deanna kept talking, here comes Havoc into Deanna Purrazzo's face. So that is, it looks like, Havoc wants to step up here. But the one thing I noticed here, maybe I'm the one that's wrong, is Susan too good here? Because during that entire time that Kimber was talking, I was watching Susan because she was pacing back and forth. And she's, like with these angry faces. I think she's too distracted. She's too good. I don't know if I'm the only one that feels that way, John the Guy.
No, she's just entirely too entertaining. Like, you want to see Su Yung come back and, mess some people up, but not if that means Susan goes away. Susan is too damn entertaining.
Yeah. Taylor Wilde ended up defeating Kimberly with a code breaker into a modification of a sharpshooter / Indian deathlock. I don't think you cannot get. No, she's not Canadian at all. Not at all. A post-match attack by Susan was quickly thwarted by her new friend Tennille Dashwood. She just happened to be. She wasn't eavesdropping. She just happened to be passing by the ring ramp and saw that Taylor needed help. So there you go, Tennille and Taylor Wilde. John DeConnie, what did you think of Taylor's first match back? They're saying 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was, it was a good idea to make it a sub 10-minute match because not that she looked bad, but that ending was just sloppy and weird. It's like there's no way that's the way the move was supposed to look. Mm-hmm. Like, it looked like it was a figure 4, and it was right. Kimberly wound up right next to the ropes. If she didn't tap absolutely immediately, all she had to do was look up and go like, "Oh, I'm right here. I can get a rope break." So something about that wasn't quite right. But Taylor looked, okay. I'm sure, we'll get a little bit more out of her, and she'll start to look better. I think the biggest problem of this whole COVID season of wrestling is that if you're off TV, I know there's rings and set up everywhere for people to practice in, but there's a lot of ring rust going around. You see a lot of sloppy moments because they're just they're not doing house shows 4 nights a week. They're not. People are just not getting the ring time.
Good analysis. Speaking of re-debuts with ring rust and whatnot, W. Morrissey looks pretty good. He defeated Sam Beal with their power bomb, and you can't teach that. All right, so as I alluded at the beginning, the entire locker room was the show started. The entire locker room, of course, led by AC Romero and Larry D. Everybody wants a shot at Kenny Omega. They were outside Scott D'Amore's door, waiting for an answer. So D'Amore said, you read my mind. Go into the ring to give you that answer right now. So D'Amore went into the ring. He announced that there will be a 6-pack challenge at Under Siege, where the winner of that 6-pack challenge, he will face Steven Seagal, and then if you beat Steven Seagal, then you get Kenny Omega. So they had qualifying matches. They're going to be, 3 were last week, or supposed to be, and then 3 are this week. It started off with Jake Something. He had a lot of positive things to say about Jake Something, and to tell you the truth, this is probably the best thing that could have happened to Jake is to get out of that silly. As much as I love the Deaners, they were silly, they were fun. But both him and Cody needed to get out of that. They're both doing well right now. Jake Something, he landed Chris Bay, a returning Chris Bay. And Chris Bay got the win. I believe he got Rohit Raju. Yeah, the roster was still on the outside. Rohit grabbed. I guess he's still, quote unquote, friends with Chris Bay. He grabbed Jake Something's leg. And then turned into a win for Chris Bay. It was a roll-up with his feet on the ropes, so there you go. There was one roll-up last week, but it wasn't on Raw, so we let it go. But his feet were on the ropes, too. He was cheating at the same time. So Chris Bay is going to Under Siege. And then they had Impact Rebellion Backlash. Impact Rebellion Backlash. Matt Cardona, he defeated Brian Myers. He defeated Brian Myers, so Matt Cardona is going to Under Siege. All this, while this is going on, Kenny Omega is still nowhere to be found. Under Impact contract rules, if he's the champion, he's got to show up or he's going to be stripped of the title. So Slinger owed Don Callis $20,000 for the bet that Callis made at Swingers Palace. So he actually trusted Johnny Swinger to get Kenny Omega from the airport to the ring so that Kenny Omega didn't get stripped of the world title on his first night. That is bold. That is some trust to put into Johnny Swinger. But he got him there, as we saw in the last qualifying match, John Licani, with Eddie Edwards and Sami Callihan.
Yeah, not only did he trust Swinger, he trusted Swinger to get one of his, what do you call it? One of his, not goons. What the hell does he call them? Anyway, he told him to send one of his, lackeys, basically, which we all know the only one available is Johnny Bravo. So I cannot believe we didn't get a segment with Johnny Bravo driving around an airport, not being able to find the plane or something like that. But fast forward to the main event of the night, Stooge. He told Swinger to send one of his stooges. That's the damn word. He told so we have Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards in the feud that will not end in qualifier number 3 for the evening, and they beat the hell out of each other for about 10.5 minutes, but then Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers rushed the ring. Technically, now I had originally called this a no contest last week, and then following on the Impact website, they changed it to Sammy technically was the first person to get hit. They made it a DQ, and I haven't seen any updated brackets, but it sounds like Sammy won by DQ and is moving on. Maybe Eddie Edwards has something to say about that this Thursday night. I don't know. But as it stands right now, it's a DQ victory for Sami Callihan. And afterwards, we got Finjuice trying to make the save, but they get beat down as well by the Bullet Club. And then Callis gets on the mic and said, you wanted Kenny in the building. Be careful what you wish for. Enjoy your world champion.
Yeah, and I don't know if Eddie's going to have too much to say, because immediately after Impact went off the air, they announced the main event that Under Siege is going to be Kenny Omega and the Bullet Club and the Good Brothers, the Bullet Club. They're going to be going against Eddie Edwards and Finjuice. So Eddie, whether Sami Callihan gets the nod and advances to Under Siege, I guess that's TBD, because the last graphic I saw only had Cardona and Chris Bay on it. But Eddie's already, going. He's with Kenny Omega. He got his wish. It's not for the title, but he's got his he's going to get a piece of Kenny Omega at Under Siege.
There you go.
So, and then we have 3 more qualifiers Thursday night. So let's get right into it. I didn't really put it up. I forgot to tell you. Oh yeah, by the way, Finn Balor is going to be back at NXT as well. I forgot to mention. The first qualifier, we have Trey Miguel and Rohit Raju, John Smith. We really haven't heard from you a lot this segment. I know, Little League baseball games, they tend to get in the way of stuff. But I'm sure Johnny's doing well. But you got Rohit Raju and Trey Miguel here, John Smith. What do you think?
Oh, this has Trey written all over it. I don't even care if Shearer gets involved or anybody else, because they're pushing Trey to the moon right now. So I think he's the one unstoppable guy that isn't going to lose anytime soon. All
right, John Smith.
That was me.
I'm sorry, John DeConnie. I'm trying to do these ones here.
I think Trey takes this one the only way I see it going the other way, and it's not going to be my pick, but maybe Chris Bay tries to, hey, thanks, let me get your back now, but it's just it makes too much sense for Trey to move on into this 6-pack.
Yeah, normally I don't like betting against Rohit Raju, so I'm gonna take Trey. Now the reason why I'm betting against Rohit, he's got bigger things ahead of him. He's eventually gonna get Sting, so he doesn't need to be going for Kenny Omega and the Impact World Championship.
Oh God, please let that happen.
He made it a point when this whole thing started. He wants Sting. He wants to take out Sting. So until I hear otherwise, that's where I think Rohit's going. Eric Young vows that Violent by Design will be represented in the 6-man match at Under Siege to fight against the Sickness. So I guess the Sickness, Kenny Omega. I guess everybody's the Sickness other than them. But Rhino and Chris Sabin, we have former TNA, NWA, Impact World Champions here. We have 2 of them. Rhino, he went 24 hours without daylight, food, water. He beat Abyss, Jeff Hardy, and Sabu in a Monsters Ball match. Then went on to win a 10-man gauntlet Royal Rumble type match, and then went on to beat Jeff Jarrett for the NWA TNA World Championship, all in the same night. So Rhino is tested for this. Chris Sabin beat Bully Ray by cashing in the Ultimate X or Option C or whatever they used to call it. So both of these guys are former world champions, John LeConnie.
Yeah, I think this is a bad day for Chris Sabin. I mean, he's a TNA legend, so okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I think Rhino wins this one definitively.
John Smith.
Yeah, Violent by Design needs to be represented in the 6-pack, so I'm going with Rhino.
All right, I'll go with Sabin then. I knew you guys were going to pick Rhino. But yeah, I'm not no problem with Rhino. But the fun fact is that I shot out both of them being world champions. I believe they both lost their world titles within 3 days. So Jeff Jarrett won it back against Rhino at the next Impact, and I'm pretty sure Bully Ray did the same thing to Chris Sabin. And then the last qualifier, Moose is pissed that he has to jump through all these hoops to get to Kenny Omega. Moose is back. He's still angry. We haven't seen Moose since he lost the unification match to Rich Swann. James Storms packed him a 2-sack lunch for their fight as per his daddy's instructions when he was a kid. We don't have a graphic for it, but we got Moose and James Storm, John Smith, in the last qualifying match.
Moose.
There you go. John LeConnie.
I would have to concur. I think Moose takes it. Obviously, it's James Storm. It's not going to be a walkover, but I think Moose takes it.
Yeah, you got to go with the big Moose on this one. So that will do it for Impact. We are going to bid you guys adieu for the time being. And let me get this off now before I screw up. All right, we're going to bring in from minutestobelltime.com. We saw him earlier. We didn't announce him properly for Star Wars Day. So, ladies and gentlemen, Joy Baca joins us here to talk a little.
I'm so afraid you were going to say Jabba the Hutt.
No, I wouldn't have anyway. Joy Baca. How did everything go with New Japan? There was he said there was a bunch of title matches last week. I know it ended this morning. Talking with Travis on the Daily Wrestling News Show. It sounded like Will Ospreay, if I remember correctly. I was doing a lot of stuff this morning as I was listening.
Yeah, New Japan had a couple of big shows recently. Will Ospreay won. Yeah, we'll get back to him. El Fantasmo in a few seconds. We're going to talk about how he's going to debut on Impact. But let's talk about Will Ospreay. He's the IWGP World Heavyweight Champion. He had a 44-minute match this morning against Shingo Takagi. He made it through. He won the match. So he's moving on to face Okada. So Okada at the end of the month at the Tokyo Dome, assuming that Tokyo is open, because right now they were in lockdown. They had to cancel a bunch of events. That's point one. Point two is if Okada is clear to compete, because there were 6 people removed from this morning's card, Okada being one of them. Somebody is sick, and the rest were all near that person. So depending on what happens there, we should have our Ospreay-Okada match, which is a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year on January 4th. Okada beat Will Ospreay. So we're looking forward to that at the end of the month. But also yesterday, Jay White, he beat Tanahashi to win the Never Openweight Championship. And then he did mention after the match, and Travis brought this up on the Daily Wrestling News Show this morning, that if there's any belt collectors out there looking for belts, they know where to find Jay White. So Jay White kind of indicating that maybe Kenny Omega should come shopping for a New Japan belt.
Yeah, is that the one that Kenny would go for though? Like that's where I kind of lie on that one. That's fun, Jay White, new Bullet Club versus old Bullet Club. I mean, everything's all fun. Is that really the belt that Kenny wants?
I think he needs a Japan belt in his collection, but I don't think he has any chance of getting the World Championship belt. New Japan, their big shows. They have 2 more big shows this month. One is the 15th or so, and that's a stadium show, and then the Tokyo Dome at the end of the month. So not much announced for either of those yet.
Okay, and then the part, everyone, if you just saw me, I just kind of said we were supposed to talk about El Fantasmo. He is going to be on Impact this week as well on Thursday night. So the Bullet Club, I don't know if he had any with Kenny Omega and Gallows and Anderson at the time, if they cross paths, if this is the same Bull, Bull Club's always for life, so maybe Phantasmo would help them out, but it just seems to me that he's just got X Division written all over him. Maybe this is kind of a substitute for what they wanted to do with Sammy Guevara.
Possibly. Yeah, you're right, though, that he is more of an X Division. He's a junior heavyweight, X Division, no limits and stuff like that, right? But typically you see your junior heavyweight type guys in there. El Phantasmo debuted in 2019 for New Japan Pro Wrestling, so he had no overlap with Kenny Omega and those guys at all. But in his very first match, I'm actually glad we talked about Will Ospreay up front, because in his very first match in New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2019, who'd he pin? Will Ospreay.
Wow.
So he's got a good credential there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably his biggest match of his career so far was against Hiromu Takahashi at the Tokyo Dome on January 4th this year. He lost that match, but he still is an IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team champion twice. He won the Super J Cup, which he competed against a bunch of the Impact guys in that. Like Chris Bay was in that tournament. Chris Bay was wrestling on like 3 shows that night.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, so he is the Super J Cup winner last year. So he's got a lot of credentials. He's a great talent. He is a heel. He is the Jay White style heel that'll roll out of the ring as soon as the bell rings, and you'll have to chase him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's exciting to watch once he gets going. So.
All right, good. Well, we're looking forward to seeing him Thursday night. I'm sure he'll fit right in with all those guys. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe it's an in-action match first. Sam Beal, it seems like the only in-action guy that Impact has at the moment. But it'll be interesting to see, what they do. But Ryan, we're going to take you out of this neck of the woods, and we're going to put you and as I say, your senior correspondent. You have a big show coming up on tomorrow night. AEW, their first Wednesday special of the new season for ProWrestlingPick'em.com. Before we get to that, let me just get the correct nameplates up here because I keep on. Before we get that, though, last week, though, John Smith, you wanted to be up first on this one with the TNT Championship and Darby Allin and Preston Vance.
Yeah, we all pretty much knew what was going to happen here, but there was a little slim glimmer of doubt because of the whole Brody Lee connection, and that they actually played into that before the match started. So,
yeah.
They got us all on the emotional side with 10, even though Darby's, a big fan favorite. It was not to be, though. Darby finished him off, in due time, and that was that.
All right, yeah, so that's now, 5 title defenses now, or 4 or 5, Ryan, since
I have to check my records, but he's done 3 in a row, for sure.
Yeah, 3 weeks in a row. We got this week off. I don't think he has anything scheduled for Blood and Guts. And then, Ryan, we're going to stick with you. A match that it was tough for us to pick, but we thought that everybody was just riding this Hangman Page wave that not even Brian Cage could stop. And
that's exactly how I wanted to set up the match, is that you're right. All of us last week, we all picked Adam Page. We all picked Adam Page to win against Brian Cage because we thought Page Omega down the road, and we're just going to kind of ride it until that. But Brian Cage found a way, and Team Taz, they looked like they were falling apart, but they were a cohesive unit, and they came out and interrupted Page's entrance. Brian Cage powerbombed him on the ramp, and Page really never recovered fully from that. And it was Drill Claw City, as Taz would say, for the pin. And Brian Cage gets the big win over Adam Page.
Yeah, is it the only reason I think if nobody knew, everyone was thinking, Page and Omega, Hangman Page and Omega. If nobody thought that, I think everybody would have flip-flopped and took Brian Cage. So let this be a lesson to us. It doesn't matter. This is not WWE style booking. AEW content, whoever is the better wrestler should win. And that's what Brian Cage is. Unless anyone disagree with that. I feel like Brian Cage is a better sports entertainer wrestler than Adam Page is.
And Brian Cage is an amazing in-ring talent. I think Adam Page still has his title shot coming. He was undefeated before that too, by the way. He was 8-0 before that. So It's a big win for
But
Brian
then
Cage.
another honeymoon match, John DeConnie. John Smith's my best friend Penta. John Smith's best friend Penta. And then Kyle and Orange Cassidy. They got into it as well.
Yeah, this one was real entertaining. It was a good back and forth. Penta's a bigger guy than Cassidy, so I wasn't sure whether or not he was going to ragdoll him around with his innovative offense or whatnot. But there was some good back and forth all the way around. And then Alex got on the mic again. Alex Abrahantes got on the mic again and started cutting into Orange and whatnot. And what the hell? Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Lost my spot in my notes. And Orange Cassidy pulls him into the ring, which of course caused him to drop the mic. The mic kind of pitters over into the corner, and Trent, the question mark, is at ringside. He picks it up, and shortly thereafter he hands it to Orange. And after Orange he was going up he was trying to pull him up into a pile driver. Orange flipped right over his head and out the back. He got the mic, used it for an Orange punch, and he gets the victory over Penta.
Yeah, so Colin, I said Penta was going to run the gauntlet, and he just didn't even. He got 1-for-1 against the best friends and alien friend. Jade Cargill again says she's her own boss, and she's not going to give anybody a percentage of her money. Not as we should listen to offers. So Jade Cargill's still looking for an hash. I don't get this. Anyway,
I'll do it.
Yeah,
I don't need no man.
Christian Cage, future AEW World Champion Christian Cage, interrupted Taz backstage and let Taz know that he's going to go through Team Taz one by one on his way to eventually beating Kenny Omega for the AEW title. So looks like Christian's going to try to run that gauntlet, and Brian Cage, that's going to be a tough out. I'll take him against the other ones. Cage is going to be tough. Maybe save that one for Double or Nothing. That would be good.
Isn't Christian his uncle?
Taz's?
Christian.
No,
Christian
Brian Cage. Christian Cage.
Oh,
Brian
yes,
Cage.
yes. Chris Statlander defeated Penelope Ford after the Big Bang Theory. There was no signs of Miro during that match while Kip Sabian was ringside. But whoa, there sighting backstage. And Kip Kip was looking for him. That was the stupid. Miro was he poked the bear. So Kip went in to see if he can mull things over. And he got his ass kicked. I think he broke his arm. And I think Ryan Joy reported this morning he is out for an extended amount of time with an injury. So Kip Sabian is officially on the shelf. The show started, as Don Callis put it, let's just quote him directly here, 6 grown men in the back of a limousine. Doesn't get any better than this. Yeah, so it started off with the Bullet Club, and they're not afraid of Moxley and Kingston. I don't know. Long story short, we're going to get into Blood and Guts. That's the first match we're going to talk about. But before we do, here are the standings going into the show. I showed this earlier with Gary. I let him have some fun being in first place. John Smith is second. I'm in third. We're all pretty close to each other. We're only one show in, and those are all of our records from Rebellion. Here are our records last year with AEW. Travis and Gary, we're not on record yet, but they will be involved in this as well. If you want to listen to Travis's picks and his opinion on Blood and Guts, make sure you go to today was episode 90 of the Daily Wrestling News Show. Travis will give you all of his insight there. And then the scoring system, just your basic 5, 3, and 1. But there are no championship matches. Pretty much everything is a one-pointer with the exception of Blood and Guts. It's the same as War Games, so I will credit it with the same amount of points as War Games. So that'll be bumped up to 10 and making the perfect pay-per-view bonus with 10 points when we get to that match. But like I said, things went down, I believe. Actually, I kind of forget what happened. But Kenny fed Michael Nakazawa to Eddie Kingston. Then Moxley jumped Kenny from behind and held his ankle hostage unless Callis promised this match. So this is where we are. Kenny Omega and the limousine driver, oil guy, Michael Nakazawa. He's going against Eddie Kingston and former world champion Jon Moxley. Ryan Joy is our senior AEW correspondent. I'll give you first crack at this one.
Not because I was there, just there to take a pin. So
yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. John Connie?
I would have to agree there. Kingston and Moxley take this one.
John Smith, you need Michael Nakazawa a chance here?
Oh, I mean, after I saw that graphic, I kind of want to pick Nakazawa, but I'm going. I'm definitely going with Moxley and Kingston here.
The Young Bucks, they defeated the Seidel brothers in a tag team eliminator match. Now, due to the outcome of that match, the Seidels are not allowed to challenge the Young Bucks for the tag team championships while the Bucks are champions. That is the purpose of an eliminator match. Do we all get it? Anyway, they won after Matt Jackson hit one of them with the Johnny Cage low blow into the BTE trigger. But there's actually they had an altercation. SCU came out. They're still full of piss and vinegar. They promised a while ago that the next match they lost, they would split up as a tag team and Christopher Daniels could peacefully retire, which he's been trying to do for the past 2 years now, from what I've heard. John DeConnie, we don't have a graphic for this, but we have the Jurassic Express, we have SCU, we have the Acclaimed, and we have the Varsity Blondes. We have Varsity Blues Blondes. Browns? The Varsity Browns. It's Cleveland. They're from Cleveland?
Something like that.
I don't know. Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman's from Ohio, right? So the Browns is Bengals.
Yeah, Cincinnati.
For the Bengals. The Varsity Bengals. There you go. John DeConnie, who do you got? The winner gets the Young Bucks, most likely at Double or Nothing.
Wow, did you go around the world for that one?
Or at least Ohio.
Yeah, right. I went around.
Give me SCU. We got we got Double or Nothing coming up in about 2.5 weeks or 3.5 weeks. So give me SCU so we get our title match at the pay-per-view.
John Smith.
It's what, a 4-way match between all those teams you mentioned?
Yeah, SCU, the Acclaimed, and the Varsity Blondes.
I got SCU because they're the only ones like doing a little promo with the Bucks right now.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, Ryan Joy, if this truly is it, and Christopher Daniels wants to ride off into the retirement sunset here, Double or Nothing, AEW's biggest show of the calendar year for the tag titles against the team they respect and the Young Bucks. Who the Bucks brought them there. They were the ones that brought Christopher Daniels wanted to retire before AEW even started, and the Bucks coaxed him back in. And I believe this is the poetic way for Christopher Daniels to go out.
I agree. Though what's funny about it is that yes, so SCU is who I'm picking, but I've been thinking that this is going to be the whole Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair, "I'm sorry, I love you" moment towards the end of Chris Daniels' career. But if the Bucks are complete heels, it's not going to be "I'm sorry, I love you." It's just going to be "Get the hell out of here, old man," and kick him in the face.
Yeah, they got the BTE trigger right there. Boom. Dr. Britt Baker, the #1 contender for the AEW World Women's Championship. She will be fighting in action. John Smith, any chance that Zion Ruff is her opponent for this?
If it is, then I got Zion, definitely. Otherwise, Britt Baker's taking this one.
Ryan Joy, I'm sorry, Ryan Joy. You got
we have had an action win once before, and that's when it was Abaddon. But I don't think that we're going to see that tonight.
No, this would kill every bit of momentum Britt Baker has.
Yes, so Britt Baker all the way.
John DeConnie?
Yeah, I'm also on that train. DMD takes this one.
Okay. Let's get rid of that. The Factory defeated the Nightmare Family in a 6-man tag team match after Anthony Ogogo was punching everyone pretty much on the outside, and then QT Marshall pinned Lee Johnson. Hell broke loose post-match when the Gun Club came out. QT bailed after taking a few bumps, but ran into Cody on the Nightmare bus, eventually ending up on top of the bus where Cody applied the figure 4. So I'm not sure why Sheamus fits into this here, but I think that's Cody versus Sheamus. QT Marshall 5-0. That's pretty impressive. And I guess that doesn't include the scrimmage match. Right? Didn't they have a friendly, so to speak, and nobody won?
Yeah, I call that no conflict.
Yeah, John Smith, we'll leave with you on this one too, because I know you're gonna just bet on Cody because he's not gonna book himself. John Smith.
Okay, so his audio is probably out.
All
Okay,
right.
I'm back now. I was hoping you
Sorry, the
wouldn't talk to
graphics
me.
still up. I couldn't see.
It's Cody versus QT. Is that what you were
Yeah.
saying? I couldn't hear you for a while.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's Cody Rhodes and QT Marshall.
I mean, Cody's booking it. Cody's winning it.
There you go. John the Connie. That's all I wanted you to say. That's all I ever want you to say.
This one's tough because QT shouldn't be losing this quickly into breaking off, but I tend to agree with John Smith that if it was anybody else in there against QT, they're losing. But I guess Cody wins this one.
All right, Ryan.
Yeah, roller coaster for the win here, and I think it's got more to do with the other guys.
Roller coaster.
That's what MJF used to call him.
Oh, did he really?
The roller coaster.
You know what? Everyone's like, oh, this would be a good momentum builder for QT if he gets the win. I will repeat what I said about 5 minutes ago. This is AEW. The better wrestler will win the match. And Cody Rhodes, in this case, is John, I know, but he's booking himself to be the better wrestler. He's a former Intercontinental Champion. Something. So yeah, I got Cody on this one. And that will bring us to the main events of Blood and Guts, a match that we were so close. We were teased to seeing last year at the beautiful, luxurious Prudential Center in downtown Brooklyn, New Jersey. John Smith, you were supposed to be there, right?
Yeah, I won tickets on the radio to that. They were probably going to be really good seats, too.
All right. Ryan, were you supposed to make the trip up? Or?
Yeah, I had tickets. I still got tickets if they go back.
Everyone cut promos during the Inner Circle and Pinnacle parlay. It was decided that Pinnacle would get the man advantage throughout the match. And it was also decided Sammy Guevara would be the one be starting for the Inner Circle. So we have Pinnacle or the Pinnacle, whatever way you want to grammatically say it, against the Inner Circle. Ryan Joy as our senior AEW correspondent. Gary picked Pinnacle. Travis this morning picked Pinnacle. Who are you taking?
I'm going to take Pinnacle, and the reason why is that I do believe this is not the end of this feud, right? This is kind of the kicking it off, and if the Inner Circle were to win here, it would be kind of like a satisfying conclusion. You know, the faces win, and it kind of ends things. So I think the Pinnacle has to win here, and it sets up, whatever comes next.
All right, John Smith, the rule I forgot to mention. The only way to win this match is by submission or surrender. There are no pinfalls.
Yeah, I think there's going to be some sort of swerve in this match. I think somebody in the Inner Circle's turning. I'm going with the Pinnacle. I don't see how, but I don't see who is going to surrender on what is just one of the Sammy Guevara is just going to be like, I surrender for all of us. Like it doesn't. That's not a satisfying conclusion of this. There's got to be some sort of thing that we're not thinking of. So I think it's a swerve. And yeah, I got the pineapple.
All right. Speaking of that scenario, that just reminds me of 1997 War Games, John DeConnie, when Ric Flair's head in the door and Mr. Perfect going to try to decapitate it.
I can still hear Ric Flair to this day.
Your brother does a great impersonation of that moment, by the way.
That's his voice. I don't actually hear Ric Flair's voice in my head. I hear my brother doing the impersonation. Unfortunately, I really wanted to, start a little rivalry here with Travis and talk about how my boy Jericho and the Inner Circle were going to kick their asses here, but it would make absolutely no sense for the Pinnacle to get not squashed, but they just pretty much formed. They beat the hell out of the Inner Circle. The Inner Circle beat the hell out of them. They got their revenge, but in terms of in-ring, there hasn't been much yet. It just doesn't make any sense for them to lose here, so give me the pineapple.
Yeah, so we are going to. It says surrender, and no one's going to submit, and no one's going to win this with like a freaking figure 4 leg lock here. The surrender, that's the key to this, and I feel like MJF is going to concoct something to the point where it's exactly what they did to Ric Flair. It's exactly what the NWO did to Ric Flair. They're going to put Jericho in some sort of compromising position to the point where somebody's going to have to surrender on their behalf to save Jericho, and then they're going to do it anyway because MJF is just a D-hole. So that's really, I don't see the Inner Circle, as vicious as they are. Like they're heels by nature. They're just because the crowd sings their song and everyone loves them right now because you hate MJF more, but I don't think they're going to put anybody in Pinnacle in that type of situation to the point where they're going to be thinking they're just going to fight.
I'll make one counterpoint, kind of going against everything we've said. Give you a scenario where the Pinnacle could lose. Because of the surrender, Tully Blanchard could throw in a towel or something to save FTR from getting, permanently injured or something.
Yeah.
And Inner Circle doesn't have a guy on the outside like that.
All right, so I'm sure we're going to see some blood in that match. Anybody got upset if we don't see any guts? I mean, I don't think they're going to eye for an eye. We were talking about an eye for an eye today because of Ryan's trivia, but are we going to be actually going to see guts in this one or no?
Let's hope.
Jericho confirmed no guts.
Gotcha. There we go. Okay, so that will put a nice little pin in this. Everyone, I'm actually looking forward to blood and guts. I like the concept. I think they got 10 great guys to pull this off, plus Tully. So, good luck to you guys. Be safe out there, and let's have some fun. This Friday, we have the primetime rundown with Joey Jarzenka, Ian Schreier, and Rob DeLuca, Friday nights at 6 p.m., as they take you through the world of sports right here on all the Eastern Observer platforms. For more information, please go to theeasternobserver.com. Tune in to the Daily Wrestling News Show Monday through Thursdays and sometimes Fridays at 10 a.m. to get your morning cup of joy with Ryan and his band of merry co-hosts, also right here on all of the Eastern Observer platforms and outlets. The Body Slam Brigade newsletter, over 4,100 subscribers received this weekly column each and every Friday. Make sure you go to minutestobelltime.com to subscribe. The Body Slam Brigade, by Ryan, for you for free. The Black Cats NYC, you can still get their new album, Free Cake. This is not their debut album. This is their second album on all of these media platforms. Deezer, YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your music, you can get the Black Cats NYC new album, Free Cake. As we've been saying all episode long, please go to ProWrestlingPick'em.com to play against the universe, specifically us here at the Essential Wrestling Podcast. We have our own public pool. We are only one show in to the new season, and I believe last year's season went about 45 to 47 shows. So there is absolutely zero reason why you can't tune in now and make it a competitive season and take down Gary. I think that's the common goal right here. Take down Darth Mehaffy and get first place back stateside. So go to ProWrestlingPick'em.com, play against the universe, or you can play against your friends if you want to create a private pool with you and your buddies, and nobody will interfere. And then join us back here next week for episode 53 of the Essential Wrestling Podcast. I'm pretty sure we will be live next week. Again, we apologize for the pre-taping of this episode. Softball beckons me tonight. I know everybody else has a couple of things. I think little Johnny's got another Little League game. So we appreciate you. Sorry we couldn't get to your comments or questions. We will get back to that live next week. James Wheeler, we miss you, buddy. We're sorry about this. We can't wait to hear your reaction to Blood and Guts. Ryan, Joy, anything before we go?
No, thank you, sir. Looking forward to Blood and Guts.
All right, John Smith.
Just want to point out that I'm wearing a Phil Collins t-shirt today, and it's because Genesis is touring this fall in North America, and I'm really excited about it. So,
wow.
Shout out.
I can't stand. Land the Confusion is probably my favorite Genesis song. John DeConnie, what's your favorite Genesis song?
Oh, goodness gracious. I don't know that I have one off the top of my head. I don't go deep on their catalog. But
all right, Ryan, what's your favorite Genesis game? Altered Beast?
It's a Street Fighter.
Street Fighter? I know John Smith's a big Sonic the Hedgehog fan, so that probably sucks. All right, so Alexa Bliss, we love you. I think I forgot to mention I think Lily's got her eye on somebody. Something's going to be happening really soon, probably the week, the Raw after WrestleMania Backlash. WrestleMania Raw Backlash. I get the WrestleMania Backlash. This is going to be confusing going forward here. But Alexa, Lily's got her eye on somebody. She's not going to tell us who. So looking forward to that. Tegan, there's a street fight tonight. We're waiting. John the Connie.
Taking us home. Thanks for joining us. And as always, we wish you the best in all your future endeavors.
Man, all this Eva Marie talk. I got to buy more stock and Kleenex. I'll be right back.